as we die, we go into a new life. And that is something very gentle as people move into death.
Dying is a spiritual process. It's happening to a physical human being, but it's very much a spiritual process.
As he was dying, I pictured God receiving him, and I was at peace with that.
You are an inspiration to a lot of people, you know.
Our Catholic faith teaches us that death is only the beginning as we enter into eternal life, a life we prepare for in how we live and how we die. As Catholics, we believe the moment of death is chosen by our Creator in God's time, not ours. And because we are created in the image of God, we uphold the belief that all human life is sacred.
Every single person has worth. It doesn't matter what their state in life is, what their disability is, what their intelligence is. By virtue of the fact that they have been created by God, they have an innate dignity. And it calls forth from us to respect that innate dignity.
The dignity of all human life, from the beginning to the end, compels us to protect the vulnerable, to ease suffering, and to offer compassionate care to the sick and the dying. Our faith also guides us to be a community for the common good of all, no matter what stage of life.
This whole journey of progressive illness is one that is a social situation. It's not just an individual situation. And the patient, in order to be on this journey, does need support.
Death is also an opportunity to celebrate a life, to come together, to be with one another, to show manifestly your love in nurturing for the person as we naturally come to the end of our lives.
It's about creating a society or creating places of belonging, of being together. And then my weakness becomes, I need your help.
How do we, as Catholics and as a society, help those who are facing a life-limiting illness? And for the dying who are enduring loss and desolation, where can they still find dignity and hope?
Good morning.
Hello, Mrs. Butcher. Nice to see you this morning.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Hope is essential to our human spirit. We have to have hope every day of our lives. And dignity is maintained here. We can't take away dignity.
Franciscan Hospice House is an innovative approach to improve end-of-life care, hospital-level treatment in a home-like environment, a place where there is comfort and death with dignity.
The majority of hospice that's done in communities here in the Tacoma area and around the country is home hospice. But there's often a situation where patients just cannot be managed at home. They're in a pain crisis. They have other care needs that the family just is unable to meet. So in lieu of having to go back into the hospital, the patients are brought here into hospice house.
I don't know where I would be without hospice house.
When Audrey's son Ronnie was diagnosed with terminal cancer, she cared for him at home. But once his needs went beyond what she could manage, Ronnie came to hospice house.
I stayed with him the whole time he was here. He was very strong and he didn't want to die. He didn't want to die up until the last few days that he was here.
So being here allowed Audrey to be the mother. We were the caregivers, and we were also caring for her.
Caring for people at end of life is exceedingly important in Catholic healthcare and has been throughout our whole history.
To provide quality care, healthcare professionals are continuing to learn how to meet the needs of the patient on every level of end-of-life care.
We know so much more today than we knew, 20 years ago about what can help people be comfortable in body, mind, and spirit.
Confronting a life-limiting illness can be fraught with suffering. If needs are neglected, despair sets in, and the desire to hasten death increases. But the Catholic Church condemns actions that terminate a person's life Instead, we support good palliative care, and research shows that once needs are addressed and treated, the dying person can experience relief and a sense of solace.
What we want to do is to create an environment where people can experience peace and feel that they're leaving peace.
How can peace be attained in such a profoundly difficult time? One step is preparation. For instance, taking care of worldly concerns like preparing a will and durable medical power of attorney. But beyond that, it's seeking palliative care early in the diagnosis of a life-limiting illness.
People should have hospice for at least 6 months. They're entitled to hospice for at least 6 months before they die. The majority of people get hospice for about 3 weeks.
And that kind of supportive care can even affect not only the quality, but also the length of life.
It depends on the sense of hope of the person. It depends on the support, good palliative care. 10% of the people who enter hospice are still alive at 1 year. Some enter hospice and then go home after being in a residential hospice because they got good care.
To appreciate how good palliative care can alleviate suffering, we must first understand the fears someone faces near the end of life, whether it's a loss of autonomy, the dread of becoming a burden, and of course, the prospect of pain.
Quality pain management is so important, particularly when person's towards the end of life and they're feeling out of control, and if it's something that might drive them to want to end their lives. Because when you do get pain control, people want to live.
In quality pain management, the main objective is to bring comfort, and always with the intention to let nature take its course.
What's your intent? Your intent is to provide comfort, to provide relief, but it's not to end the life of the patient.